A lot of us act as if accepting ourselves is really that much of a choice, right? And when I say accepting ourselves is really that much of a choice, I don't mean that we have some divine obligation to accept ourselves, right? Because I think no matter what, we have the free will to do whatever we want in this world, right? We were given free will and autonomy. But when I say that we act as if accepting ourselves is really that much of a choice, what I mean by that is we act as if there are so many different other alternatives to accepting ourselves, right? Like if I came to you with a bowl of vanilla ice cream, right? I came to you with a bowl of vanilla ice cream, and it just so happened that you don't like vanilla ice cream, right? You can reject that vanilla ice cream or not choose to accept the vanilla ice cream, and you can go ahead and choose from a plethora of other options, right? You can choose chocolate, cookies and cream, pistachio, right? You can choose from a wide variety of other options, right? But when it comes on to accepting ourselves, we only really have two options. The only two options that we have is to either accept ourselves or to not accept ourselves, right? Those are really the only two other options. And obviously, even within those two choices, we have the free will and autonomy to choose whether or not we want to accept ourselves or not, right? We still get to choose. But here's the thing, and here's the harsh truth, and something that a lot of us truly aren't aware of, right? The harsh truth is that you are going to spend the rest of your life with yourself. You are going to wake up every single day with yourself for the rest of your life, right? You are the only person that you will spend the rest of your life with. That is the harsh truth. Now imagine if you spend or if you were to spend the rest of your life with a romantic partner or a lover who really didn't like you. Imagine if you were to spend the rest of your life with a significant other who really didn't accept you, right? Imagine they woke up every single day and the only thing that they did was find all the wrong things about you. The only thing that they did was to point out your flaws, point out your inadequacies and your shortcomings, right? Imagine if you were to spend the rest of your life with a person like that, right? That would literally be like living in hell every single day. And when it comes on to ourselves, we subject ourselves to a life in which we constantly belittle ourselves. We subject ourselves to a life in which we constantly withhold our love from ourselves, right? In which we fail to truly accept ourselves. When the reality is that you are the only person you are going to spend the rest of your life with. And if you're spending the rest of your life refusing to accept who you are, refusing to love yourself, refusing to look at yourself and see the value within yourself, then you're going to live the rest of your life in hell. And the harsh reality is that most of us in this world, we are living in hell. And not because of external circumstances, not because of other people, but simply because we fail to give ourselves the self acceptance and the love that we need. We fail to accept ourselves for who we are. We wake up every single day and all we do is constantly fight against who we are. That is all we do every single day is fight against who we are. And I think a lot of us aren't even aware of the ways that we fight against ourselves, right? Like a lot of us in this world, we have these lists of things that we believe we have to get in order for us to accept ourselves and in order for us to feel as if we're worthy, right? So in a way, we try to work on our body, right? You know, we try to make more money. We try to improve the way we dress, our sense of style, right? We try to change different things about our personality and how we act, so on and so forth, right? But the reality is that you can make all the changes that you want on yourself. You can change certain parts of your personality, but the essence of who you are is always going to remain the same. You can never truly change who you are. You can change the clothes, you can change the way your body looks, but the essence of who you are is always going to remain the same. And once you truly recognize that no matter what you change about yourself, you are still going to be the same person, then you recognize that the only thing or the one thing that you can do in this world is to fully accept yourself no matter what. Is to give yourself that self acceptance. Is to recognize that the simple fact that you have to spend the rest of your life with yourself means that your love for yourself cannot be conditional. Your self love cannot be conditional if you are going to spend the rest of your life with yourself. Because when it comes on to life, you are going to go through so many different seasons, right? There may be seasons in your life in which you lose weight and your body doesn't look like how it used to look, right? Let's say you have a sudden sickness, a sudden illness, right? And you lose a couple pounds, right? Let's say you lose your job or your business isn't going the way in which you want it to go, right? Let's say you break up and you're no longer in that relationship that you were in for so long, right? You are going to go through so many different seasons. And if your self love, if your self acceptance is conditional on external things and how your life looks, then to a large extent, you are going to fall into a state in which you resent yourself whenever those things change. And that's not truly self love. That's not even truly love at all. I don't think true love is conditional on anything. I don't think true love is dependent on external factors at all. I think true love, or love in general, sees the value in something and in someone no matter what. And when it comes on to life, your self acceptance, your self love cannot be conditional, or you are always going to fall into periods in your life in which you'll begin to hate yourself again. And that to me is no true way to live. At the end of the day, circumstances change, right? You change. Things about you change, right? And you have to be willing to accept yourself through all of that. But I don't think most of us do that. We spend most of our lives fighting against who we are. And a lot of the ways we fight against who we are, we truly don't even recognize it. We're not aware of it. This is probably even going to be a bit controversial, but I believe that even self-improvement for a lot of people is a means of self-avoidance, right? Self-improvement has become a means of self-avoidance for a lot of us in this world, and we're not even aware of it, right? We have this idea of, you know, I'm gonna get my body right. I'm gonna get my money right, right? I'm gonna get into that relationship. I'm gonna start doing this or doing that, right? And all we're doing is trying to avoid ourselves or avoid not accepting ourselves because we believe that if we were to get all these things together, if we were to get all our ducks in a row, then we would become a different person. And because we would become this new entire person, right? Then we would be able to accept ourselves, right? And I'm not saying self improvement is wrong. I'm not saying getting your body right, eating healthy, getting your mind right, getting the relationship that you want, or you starting to make a certain amount of money. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. What I'm saying is that a lot of us in this world are using it as a means of avoiding accepting ourselves for who we truly are. Because you can take away the fit body. Life can take away the fit body. Life can take away that relationship. Life can take away that income. But at the end of the day, you still have to come back to yourself. You still have to come back to self. And if you spend so much of your life hiding behind the money, hiding behind the fit body, right? Hiding behind that relationship, then in a lot of ways, once you have to come back to yourself, you are going to hate the person that you have to come back to because you have never looked at yourself, sat with yourself, and accepted yourself, right? You've never accepted yourself. All the things you do, every single thing that you do, is a means of avoiding yourself and fighting against who you are. And that is, to me, no way to truly live. Obviously, I'm not telling you how to live, you still have free will. But if you have to spend the rest of your life with yourself, and if circumstances and situations change, then the least you can do is accept yourself. The least you can do is to love yourself no matter what. And I've recognized that in my own life, loving or accepting myself didn't start out as this grand thing, right? I didn't wake up one day and start beating my chest and start talking about how I'm that nigga or I'm him, so on and so forth, right? Because I think to a large extent, a lot of that is ego, right? So my self love and my self acceptance didn't become or didn't begin, I should say, as this huge thing or this extravagant thing. Accepting myself began as a subtle surrender, right? It began as a subtle surrender. It began the moment I sat with myself and I genuinely said to myself, I'm me. No matter what, I'm going to be me. I'm going to have to spend the rest of my life as me. I can't change who I am. Sure, I can improve parts of myself, but the essence of who I am is always going to remain, and I have to spend the rest of my life as this person. And since I have to spend the rest of my life as this person and I cannot change it, then the least I can do is to accept myself. The least I can do is surrender to the essence of who I am, to the essence of how I was made. The least I can do is stop fighting against myself. Stop thinking that I have to get all my ducks in a row in order for me to feel as if I'm worthy of self acceptance. Right? That is how my self acceptance and my self love began. And the irony of this is that once I sat with myself and I surrendered to my authentic self, to my authentic essence, my self love began to grow. Because the reality of life is this: you can only see things which are aligned with your beliefs. You can only see things which are aligned with the perspective that you choose, right? And so if you've spent most of your life rejecting who you are and fighting against who you are, it is impossible for you to see the good within you. It is impossible for you to see what is so great about you, right? But the moment you accept yourself, right? The moment you surrender, the moment that subtle surrender begins within you, that is when you begin to see all the good things about you, all the subtle good things about you that you are unaware of for most of your life. Maybe it's the way in which you light up a room when you go in that room. Maybe it's your sense of humor. Maybe it's the fact that you being in that room, your authentic personality inspires people. People gravitate towards you, right? Maybe it's the fact that you are a deep thinker and you can shift a person's personality to the way in which you articulate yourself, right? Once you accept yourself, that is when you begin to truly see the good things about you, because you can only see things which are on the level or aligned with your beliefs and the perspective that you choose in life. So the reason why most of you watching this find it hard to see what is so great about you is because you have not accepted yourself. You have not come to terms with yourself. You have not come to terms with the fact that this, this is you, and you have to spend the rest of your life as this person. And you can change your body, you can change your income, you can change your relationship status, but the essence of who you are can never truly be changed. Until you come to terms and accept that, you will never see the good within you. And you will spend the rest of your life hating and resenting yourself. You will spend the rest of your life hating and resenting yourself. So if you want to see the good within you, you have to stop fighting yourself. You have to accept yourself. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and sit with yourself and say, this is me. This is the way my skin looks, right? This is my phenotype. This is how my face looks. This is how my hair looks. This is how my personality is. And you have to come to terms with that. And don't think you have to start off accepting yourself or loving yourself in this grand way. Because self-acceptance and self-love doesn't begin in an extravagant way. It begins with a subtle surrender. Surrendering to the essence of who you are and recognizing that no matter what, no matter how many things you change about you, the essence of who you are still remains. And no matter what changes out here, no matter what changes on your body, the essence of who you are is the only thing that is unchanging about you. It's the only thing. That authentic expression of who you are is the only thing that will always remain. And I think to me, true self love isn't even about necessarily loving your body. Sure, you have to love your body, you have to love the way you look. But to me, true self love and true acceptance goes beyond even loving your body. It's about loving your essence, loving your being. Recognize that even your body, even your body, so on and so forth, and all these external things aren't truly fully who you are. And that sounds crazy to say, but I might have to make a video in which I dive more into this. But you have to recognize that who you are even goes beyond that. Who you are doesn't have even a definition. Who you are cannot be touched no matter what. I want you to recognize that, and you fall in love with the essence of who you are, the unchanging aspect of who you are. That is when you fully step into self love, right? That to me is true self love. Once you're able to love yourself even beyond your body and even beyond your personality or your identity, that to me is true self love. And it is impossible for me to even define that aspect of you because it is undefinable. It cannot be touched, it cannot be described, it can only be felt. It can only be felt. So, yeah, my good people, stop fighting against yourself. Stop living your life in constant conflict. Stop trying to get all your ducks in a row to feel as if you are worthy of self love or self acceptance. Because if you believe that you have to get all these things together for you to accept and love yourself, then what you're trying to achieve isn't true self acceptance. Because when the body goes, when once age sets in, once the wrinkles set in, once the money goes, once the relationship status changes, right? You still have to come back to yourself. You still have to come back to yourself. And being able to unconditionally accept yourself through all the seasons in life, all the changes in life, that is to me is true self love. Peace and blessings.